welcome to Solace's inaugural EDA Summit. My name is Ush Shukla. I'm a sales engineer here at Solace. And today I'll be sharing 5 lessons I've learned implementing event-driven architectures. Let's get started. Lesson 1. Have a naming convention for topics and queues, but don't overdo it. So, no-brainer, right? Name queues and topics so that you understand what they represent. A proper naming convention lets you eyeball which systems are interacting. Imagine trying to troubleshoot a production issue at 2 in the morning because a queue named Temp or Bob's queue is being flooded with events and you have no idea where they're coming from or going to. Not a good spot to be in. For example, a name like billing.creditprocessing.output immediately tells me that it belongs to the billing team and probably has something to do with the output of the credit processing system. Also, don't be shy about using separators between the various words to make the queue name readable. Of course, like with eating a tub of chocolate frosting, don't overdo it. Don't spend a month debating what the exact names of your queues and topics should be. This isn't your legacy. It's not going to go down in history. Just name them something reasonable and move on. 2. Know your event broker. The better you know your message broker, the more you can design your architectures to exploit its best features while avoiding designs which expose its weaknesses. For example, how does your broker handle failed messages? Do you know? Are events disappearing into the ether or saved somewhere for recovery? What is the size of the largest event the broker can support? What are its performance limits? How long does it take to recover from a catastrophic failure? Are you waiting 2 days for your messages to be available for reprocessing like I was? Or does your broker recover much quicker? By learning about your broker in depth, you'll be in a much better position to anticipate problematic scenarios and avoid them. Understand your traffic characteristics. So, how many messages does your application typically handle? Are you certain it won't come to a grinding halt if you suddenly have more messages than usual? Having a strong understanding of your traffic characteristics helps you design your applications to gracefully handle extraneous processing scenarios. Typically, you should at least know your typical processing volumes, minimum and maximum message sizes, and traffic distribution. That is to say, does your app receive messages in bursts or more evenly throughout the day? Once you have this basic information, as a rule of thumb, design for at least 20% more than the maximum value. So if your worst case processing load is 1,000 events an hour, design your system to handle at least 1,200 events an hour. 4. Be smart about message acknowledgement. Use message acknowledgement very carefully. It's understandable to want to only remove messages from the broker once they're fully processed. But what if a message can never be processed because it's fundamentally broken? If you're acknowledging everything, your application will keep trying to process that one bad message. Since processing will never succeed, the message will never be acknowledged and removed from the broker. All the while, actionable messages are piling up behind the bad one, slowly consuming memory. Of course, this issue will cascade because, why wouldn't it, and eventually impact the entire broker. So ask yourself, are all the messages I'm receiving important enough to deserve individual acknowledgements? Do I have contingencies in my code to detect and remove broken messages from the acknowledgement path so as not to impact good events? And finally, 5, log everything. So, you think tracing a message through a single application is tedious? Try tracing events that traverse applications across your entire enterprise. Where the heck do you even start troubleshooting? What sequence of events, distributed across all the systems, led to a failure? This is exactly why it's imperative that each application handling events logs everything. The type of event that was received, when it was received, the payload before and after manipulation. Of course, don't log sensitive info. Any metadata associated with that event that'll help you troubleshoot. And perhaps the time it was published back out for downstream processing. Also, consider aggregating all this info into a single logging platform for analysis. This will go a long way in helping you figure out what went wrong when failures inevitably, despite your best efforts, do occur. So that was it. 5 key lessons I've learned on my EDA journey thus far. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the rest of EDA Summit 2021.